Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, pint-sized progress, the success of a microbrewery in Hull and its delicious ales. The show must go on, but only if renovation money can be found to save the Northern Academy of Performing Arts. And I'll be talking in the studio to Jane Wenham-White of St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby on the latest money-raising schemes. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Richards. First of all, it's over to Emma Lingard for the news headlines.
Hello. Tributes have been pouring in for the Humberside police officer who's died following a crash near Hull. PC Russ Wiley was a roads policing officer with the force and was not responding to an emergency at the time of the collision. The incident happened near the village of Burstwick on Monday morning on the B1362 between Hull and Withensea. PC Wiley was airlifted to Hull Royal Infirmary in a life-threatening condition and sadly passed away Tuesday morning. The famous Northern Academy of Performing Arts at Anlaby Road in Hull is looking for money to repair its building. The building, which is over 100 years old, needs an estimated £500,000 worth of repairs. The executive manager of Napa, Barbara Dawson, says the money's vital.
That is a ballpark figure, £500,000, which sounds to me like an absolute fortune. But looking at a building like this and what it covers, you know, City of Culture coming up, 650 children attend here on a weekly basis. It's going from success to success with no funding whatsoever. It cannot be let go.
And how long do you have to wait to see your doctor? Well, for some people in North East Lincolnshire, it's too long. More than 1 in 3 have to wait at least a week for an appointment, according to a survey by North East Lincolnshire Health Watch, while 1 in 8 people say they've waited 2 weeks. The project findings will be presented to the Health Watch Board in May. Victims of crime are being asked to rate the service they receive by the police, the courts and criminal justice system. Rate by CGS is being piloted by the Home Office to build up a picture of victims' experience and can be accessed via the PCC's website. And finally, in 4 years, the Holy Trinity Beer Festival has trebled in size as it now offers 200 varieties for the public to try. Hull has had its own festival of ale for 37 years, but only recently has it moved to Hull's parish church. Stuart Campbell, the organiser, believes it's important to expose people to the quality of ale.
It's grown year after year. When we started 4 years ago in Holy Trinity, we had 65 different beers, and this year we've got 150 casks of beer, 30 different ciders, 20 imported foreign bottled beers on the bottled bar, so it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and hopefully this year we won't sell out before the end.
And that's all from me. Goodbye.
And talking of beer, the pub and bar industry has endured hard times recently with many pub closures and a fall in the number of brewery customers. There's some of us are doing our best. As pubs try to attract more drinkers with new products, smaller microbreweries brewing new drinks hope to fill the role of the more traditional breweries. Dave Nunn visited the microbrewery Atom in Hull, which has recently been making headway.
With doom and gloom surrounding the pub industry at the moment, competition between breweries for customers is hotting up, and one of them riding a wave of success is Atom Breweries in Hull, in the final of a national competition.
Over the past couple of weeks, we've entered the Ocado Britain's top new supplier, and lucky enough, we've managed to get through 2 rounds already, and we're in the final 5, so I get to go down and do a Dragon's Den style pitch next Friday, so fingers crossed. And we're getting a lot of interest now in the brewery and our beers that we make.
The microbrewery's success doesn't stop there. They estimate they sold around 250,000 pints last year, which is impressive for a 4-man operation, and they're continuing to expand.
Oh, the building you see is absolutely tiny. We're super cramped. We're very cosy up together in many ways. So we're currently looking to move into a building next door. It will offer us a bigger opportunity, but it also gives a lot of marketing expertise, and it just keeps us growing, really. And we've had a whirlwind 14 months up to now. So.
Yeah, currently expanding at the moment. We're getting in a couple more fermenters, so we'll be effectively doubling in capacity and in size. So the future's looking pretty bright. We're only just over a year old, aren't we? 14 months, like you said.
14, 15 months. Whirlwind, we supply bars all across the UK. We've just started distributing nationally. We also launched a separate company last year doing distribution, which Kimmy, our running man, who's standing behind you, runs really, really well. So yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
They say part of their success has come down to the pub industry. Atom say that pubs have been diversifying their range of drinks to attract new customers and create new revenue, which has benefited small and microbreweries such as Atom.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting time in the pub industry because I think pubs are trying to now diversify and actually offer a bigger and wider selection of interesting things for people to try, and people are being more selective of beers and spirits and wines than they ever have been. There's a good movement in food and drink to more locally sourced, more ethical, more microbrewed and thought process put behind what people buy, eat and drink. So I think for us, I mean, this is, people keep throwing around, bandying around, it's a craft beer revolution. And it really, really is. You know, good beer is definitely on the rise, and we're really glad to be kind of at the forefront in the whole area, really. It's a great time, and like you said, there's some pubs that are closing down, but I think more and more good, really fantastic pubs and bars are propping up left, right and centre.
A little later, we'll be asking another big question of some little kids, and Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. I'm joined now by Jane Wenham-White of St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby. Jane, thanks very much for coming.
Pleasure.
St Andrew's has been seeing some big changes recently in the last week or so.
That's right, yes. We actually, last April, started a redevelopment of the whole hospice. So we built a brand new adult hospice and also made big improvements to the children's hospice too. We launched an appeal last April, and last week we actually welcomed our first patients into the new hospice.
And so now, that as a consequence of this phase one, you've got how many more beds for adults?
We've got 50% more beds. So we used to have 8 beds, we've now got 12. So we'll be able to help more people. We've also used the opportunity to actually develop our services and make it more flexible so that more people can benefit from the services. And so we've greatly improved the children's family rooms as well.
And yes, well, the children's space there as well. Have you got a space for children as patients as well as children's?
Absolutely, it's a children's hospice and an adult hospice. We've got a lot of communal space as well. And we built a huge community hub, and we're going to hopefully welcome people, general public, into that space to pop in for a coffee and a snack, and hopefully dispel some of the myths that people still have about hospices.
Well, I was going to ask, it doesn't seem a particularly cheerful place to pop in for a cup of coffee.
I can assure you it's a very, very cheerful place, and people have this idea that hospices are very dour and hard, difficult places to be, but actually they're very happy, joyful places.
The hub, as you call it, the sort of a communal centre, I mean, that's going to be that's a venue in a way, isn't it?
It is, and we're going to actually work with, obviously people will be able to come to the hospice to actually get information if they've recently had a diagnosis or they want to learn more about the work of hospices. We've also got the Macmillan team and the Marie Curie team based at the hospice hub as well, and it'll be a place where patients can come in any day of the week, so it's much more flexible. They won't have to come on a fixed day. They can come to the hub for an appointment and then leave afterwards or stay around and have coffee with their friends. It's much more easygoing sort of environment, and we really do hope that people will make use of that space.
I'm sure it's not the case, but the way you put it, it sounds as if the Macmillan team and the Marie Curie team are competing.
No, not at all. No, we're all working very, very closely together. The whole idea is to actually provide joined-up working to make sure that the service that patients receive is seamless and we're not duplicating or wasting any resources.
Now that's phase one. And that's complete. That was an opening ceremony a few weeks ago, and you've taken your first patients in now.
We have indeed, yes. We're just sort of doing the snagging at the moment. Still, there's a few little things we've got to do, as there always is with any finish a build.
That's the technical builder's term, I think.
That's right.
Phase two?
Phase two, we're starting almost immediately because we considered actually delaying it because obviously funds are tight. But we decided because the builders are already on site, it was actually more cost effective to actually keep on going, and so phase two will be starting almost immediately, and that will provide a health and wellbeing centre which will, for patients of all ages, enable them to maintain their independence for longer.
And health, obviously, I mean, it is a hospice, so health is a finite resource, I suppose. But how many patients will that be able to look after?
An inordinate amount of patients, because we'll have a resistance pool that would be used for physiotherapy and also for pleasure as well. But we'll have things like a nail bar, treatment rooms, to make an experience for patients to actually go to a sort of their own mini spa, if you like.
A little pampering going on.
Absolutely, yes.
What's the sort of ETA for phase two? When will that be finished?
We're hoping by the end of this year. Yeah.
Really, literally by the end of this
Yes,
year,
yes.
phase 2 will be finished.
Yeah.
So even, just to recap, you'll come back and tell us a bit about fundraising in a minute, but people can just go and visit the hospice now and have a look at how things are.
Absolutely, yes. Come and talk to us.
Okay. Jane, thank you very much. Don't go away, we'll come back in a moment.
Thank you.
The Northern Academy of Performing Arts, as we've heard in the news, has become an incredibly successful school, exporting talent to places such as Russia and never having a student fail an exam. Now, however, its future is looking less certain due to a £500,000 repair bill for its historic premises. Dave Nunn visited the building to find out more.
You'd be forgiven for walking past and missing the Northern Academy of Performing Arts, located at the end of Anley Road in Hull. But it has a big reputation nationwide and around Europe.
Well, we're a performing arts school for children from 3 to 22. Also, we have an additional adult section. We have approximately 650 children a week attend here. We have 92 different classes in dance, musical theatre, drama, vocal coaching. This year alone, and most years as well, we'll complete about 22 shows. We have our own little theatre, which seats 120, which is fabulous. And it's just an amazing place to be.
The building that the school is based in is 111 years old, and this has caused problems in the past, especially after the building was left unoccupied for quite a period of time.
It is, it's beautiful. This in itself is a problem because it's a listed building. And it's a beautiful building. It was closed for quite some time before we moved in, and it just lends itself. For those that's old enough to remember, I think it's like, for the kids, it's like being in Fame. The staircase that you've just seen that we have leading up to the different studios, the glass roofs that we have, the light, the sprung floors, it's just absolutely... I mean, this floor is an original parquet floor. Today, we'd never be able to afford such a thing. All this was already there, including the grass growing through the windows when we came in. But, bit by bit, we've managed to rectify this and give it a facelift.
NAPA is a non-for-profit charity and can't afford the estimated £500,000 repair bill to the listed building. And without this, they may not be able to maintain this historic building.
This has got to happen. We've got to get this. We don't know how. We've got to get this support, this money from somewhere. This place can't just be left. It really can't. It's beautiful, as you've said yourself. It's a beautiful building. Most people don't even realise, how fabulous it is. And if we weren't here, I don't really know what would happen to it.
With the success the school has had and with City of Culture coming up, Barbara says this money is vital for the future of NAPA.
City of Culture coming up, 650 children attend here on a weekly basis. It's going from success to success with no funding whatsoever. It cannot be let go. This is our home. It's just beautiful. And it just cannot be let go. It's just, I think that £500,000 is not really a great deal when you think where it's going and what it's doing.
Jane Wenham-White of St Andrew's Hospice is still with me. Jane, phase 1, phase 2, 50% increase in adult beds, children's beds, costs money.
Absolutely, yes. We've been planning this whole redevelopment, building the new hospice to provide more services for local people for some 8 years now, and waiting for an appropriate time to launch a fundraising appeal, and none has really occurred because I think a year after we sort of decided we needed to do this, there was a big financial crisis, so that wasn't a good year. And so we've been putting it off because obviously it is difficult to raise money. There's so many demands on people's purses. And then about 2 years ago, NHS England had a funding round where one could apply for grants for capital bills, and that seemed an obvious thing for us to do. And we were granted just under £1 million. So it sort of gave us the kickstart to get going, really.
And did that £1 million cover phase 1 and phase 2?
Oh, no. The whole project's costing £6.5 million. The first phase cost £5.5 million. We've obviously been doing some fundraising. We've also had to dig deep into our reserves. We had got some money put aside from sort of legacy income to make a start on it, but we still desperately need the support of the local community to really complete the building and to also build back our reserves.
So you went ahead and built it without having raised the money to pay for it?
Yes, well, we actually had the money in our reserves all along, but obviously we have a policy whereby we actually keep at year's running costs because we have to pay our staff and make sure that we can keep on running.
So, of course, and that means that you have to raise money now.
Absolutely,
How are you doing that?
Well, we launched an appeal called Building on Care last April, and people have been very generous, and they've purchased real bricks, which have actually got a wall of real bricks alongside the entrance to the hospice. They were £250 each. People also bought virtual bricks on our website for £25, and we've got some very nice trees with leaves on as well.
Well, I want to do it. The trees sound absolutely beautiful, but the real bricks, presumably you can't go and take your brick home with you, or else that would be rather futile. But does that have a name written on it or
yes,
something
it's
like
22 characters, including punctuation spaces, and you can have whatever you like actually on your brick. It's a little sort of slip that goes onto a wall that's adjacent to the entrance.
It's a little bit less generous, but much more significant than Twitter, I suppose, in that sense. How many bricks are there?
Well, I think we've sold about 400 so far, and I think we've got about 500 to sell.
Quite a small wall so far, then.
It looks quite impressive, I think.
And virtual bricks, never heard of them.
Yes, well, basically you can just buy a brick online. We've got a virtual wall actually on our website.
And that's £25 a
That's right, yes.
The trees sound wonderful.
Yes, we've got sort of tree sculptures actually in the entrance to the hospice, and we've got the golden oak, silver birch and copper beech, and they are £150, £150 respectively.
How very fortunate that our trees are all named after precious metals.
Absolutely, yes.
Apart from a golden oak, which I've never heard of before. So how can people get in contact if they want to help?
Well, you can give us a call on Grimsby 350908, or you can go onto our website, which is www.standrewshospice.com.
Are there any events coming up, any particular
Yes,
occasions?
we have got events coming up. We've got on the 17th of May, we've got a skydive at Hibblestow.
A skydive?
Yes, and we've got 30 places, and they're selling out fast. People need to raise at least £400, but obviously the more they raise, the more money that we can actually use to care for patients.
So the £400 covers the cost of the skydive, and everything above
and a
that
little bit, yes, absolutely.
And a little bit, everything above that goes to the hospice.
So that's on the 17th of May. We have got a few spaces left if anyone's interested in taking part. And also on the 3rd of July, our next event is a big sleep walk, which actually starts at Grimsby Institute for Further Education.
The big sleep?
Sleep walk. It's a midnight walk for ladies only.
Righto, very well. Would you ever be tempted to do the skydiving?
No, I'm a little frightened of heights, unfortunately. But everybody else who's done it has actually really enjoyed it and had it really.
The whole point of skydiving is that you very quickly stop being at any height, I think. I'd absolutely love to do it. So anyway, just recap on how can people get in touch if they want to take part in any of those events.
Just give us a call on Grimsby 350908, or else go to our website, standrewshospice.com.
Jane, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hugh.
How careful are you with the details of our beautiful language? Time now to spot the mistake.
It should be an A in the definitely.
Anything else you can spot?
Definitely.
Anything else? You notice what's incorrect there on the card?
Confirmation? Don't know really, do you?
No. Can you spot the grammatical mistake?
Well, there's no apostrophe near the it's.
Yeah,
Definitely a boy.
Yeah, there should be an I if it's proper sentence.
Well done.
Spelling mistake.
A spelling mistake and a grammatical mistake as well.
The spelling mistake is indefinitely.
Definitely a boy. Got confirmation yesterday. I don't have anything else at the moment.
I don't know what the other one is. I'm not dead clever.
You look clever.
I don't feel it.
I got confirmation yesterday. Okay.
All right, I've got it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes, right, yes. Yeah,
well spotted.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's an I.
It's an I. That's right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you spotted the apostrophe, so well done.
Is that good?
Very good.
Marvellous.
Good.
Now we have another of our weekly big questions for some little kids. This time we visit Graspy Primary School.
I'm from Graspy All Saints Primary School, and this week's question is, are election debates a good idea?
Yes, because people can win their right to be the government.
Well, I'm not really sure, because people are telling other people their opinions. so it doesn't really matter if they have them, because other people are telling people what they think their opinions are.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they can they give ideas, and then other people can take them on, and then it can make it better, make England and the world better.
Yes, because I think that there should be a change of rules sometimes, and that there could be other people that are willing to be better.
No, because it's more like arguing. So if they do, they're just gonna get into a fight, and they're just gonna be all angry at each other.
Well, I don't think they're an amazingly good idea, because a debate is just sort of a civilised argument, and it's not really something I think should be encouraged, because, it's not really something good.
And now here's the sport with Dan Kemp.
Scunthorpe United host Port Vale tonight in League One. They have a 3-point cushion separating them from the bottom three after overcoming Crawley Town on Saturday, and tonight's opponents are just 1 point and 1 place below United. Port Vale have never won at Glanford Park, and kick-off is at 7:45. Elsewhere, North Ferriby United are at Conference North leaders Barrow tonight. The Villagers are in mid-table with promotion and relegation out of the question this season, but tonight's hosts are in a tight battle for the division's only automatic promotion spot. In Rugby Union, Hull Ionians are closing in on promotion to National League One, the third tier of sport in England. They won 42-21 at Stourbridge on Saturday. Chris Reeks went over just 4 minutes in, and Alex Torkington scored the first of his 2 tries just before half-time. Santiago Sacchino and Sam Wilson scored the other tries in the second period, along with a penalty try. They're now 3 points clear and with 2 games to go. Elsewhere, Hull UFC lost 21-28 at Sedgley Tigers, and in Midlands 3, Scunthorpe lost 28-15 at home to Bromsgrove. Hull KR's under-19 suffered the same fate at the weekend as the first team, as they lost 40-16 to the Huddersfield Giants. Loose forward George Lawler, standoff Liam Harris and Joe Wardle all scored for Kev Deaton's side. Elsewhere, Hull FC's youth team also walked over their Wakefield counterparts 74-0. And finally, back to football and Northern Counties Premier tonight. Bridlington are at Shaw Lane Aquaforce. Bye for now.
Thanks very much, Dan. Jane, just remind us, what are the dates of the skydiving and the sleepwalking?
Skydiving is the 17th of May, and the Ladies Sleepwalk is the 3rd of July.
And that's raising money for St Andrew's Hospice. To find details and take part, just contact the hospice, and that's obvious how through the internet.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Jane, thank you very much. Good luck with those events.
Thank you.
If you have a story for us, please go to our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details are on the screen. Email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 3155553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hospice, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Wednesday will be mainly cloudy during the morning, misty with hill fog in places. Some patchy rain is likely to move south across the region during the afternoon, but most places mainly dry with a maximum temperature of 14 degrees. Remaining dry through Thursday, perhaps a little cloudier.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hospice, celebrating 100 years in buses.